Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a happy December and enjoying your holiday month so far. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this really cute holiday dress. I was sort of making it for an event I was supposed to go to, but the events ended up changing. Either way, I still had a lot of fun and the dress came out so cute and I love how it looks and everything. I'm actually planning on making a few other versions of this dress because you guys gave me a lot of suggestions on TikTok of like the kind of bows I should use. I also am going to try to make this in blue, like a blue velvet with like probably black bows I'm thinking, but I do want to make a few other versions of this dress. So if you're looking for a really quick holiday dress that you can make for like the rest of the month, if you're going to any New Year's events or anything like that, you can definitely use this tutorial to make this dress, and I promise you you'll love it in the end. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into the video. If you haven't already, definitely subscribe and share my channel if you're into fashion, sewing videos, or know anyone that is, because that's what I love making. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video and let's just get right into it. So for this project, I used 3.5 yards of 4-way stretch red velvet fabric, and I also used 3 yards of satin ribbon, which I'll be showing you guys later for how I did the bows. I mainly used my serger for this project for all the seams, but I did use my main sewing machine as well for the baby hem on the hem of the skirt and the hem of the sleeves. So you would need 3 spools of serger thread and 1 spool of regular thread in whatever color your fabric is that you're using. For this project, I decided to do the cloning method, so I just used an off-the-shoulder top that I already had, but you can really just use a nice fitting top, long sleeve or short sleeve, whatever you want to do, so that you know that the top part of the skirt is going to fit you. Once I found my top, I just traced out along the edge of the shirt. I folded it in half so that it was a lot easier. You can also do regular pattern making techniques with this, but for this, like I said, I'm just going to do the cloning method. So once you have your pattern pieces, this is all the pieces that you should have, and then we're going to talk about the off the shoulder piece later, which is really just 2 rectangles. And I also will go over how to do the skirt pattern later in this video, which is a little tricky, but honestly it's not that hard, so stay tuned for when I explain that. When you're cutting on velvet fabric, which I do recommend for this dress, you should definitely make sure that your fabric is flat, because velvet does tend to sort of like pucker if you don't have it completely flat. So sort of just like move the fabric so that it's exactly how you need it to be. I personally love to make sure that I have patterns for all of the projects I worked on, so I did make pattern pieces for each of these, and then I just laid out my pattern pieces so then I could cut out everything a lot more easy. Once all of your pattern pieces are cut out, we can get into the sewing. Like I said, I am going to go over the pattern measurements I did for the off the shoulder piece and the skirt pattern a little later, but for right now we're going to focus on the top of the dress. For the rectangle of the off the shoulder portion, you should have the measurement of across your shoulder, literally just across from shoulder to shoulder, which for me was 17 inches, and then you can make it as wide as you want that off the shoulder piece part to be. So for me, I think I did like 24 inches wide. So you just need 2 rectangles of that measurement, 17 by 24 inches or whatever your measurements are. So the first step that I did was sewing that little part right before where the sleeves would be. I actually ended up recutting this piece just to make that little line a bit taller up, but that is the first step. Next would be attaching the sleeves. So we're going to attach the sleeves to the armhole. Now, after we attach the sleeve to the armhole, we're gonna close up all the side seams, so the shirt side seam and the sleeve side seam, so that that's all closed up and finished. After you do that, your shirt should basically look finished. You could honestly wear it like this, but obviously we are not done. So the next step that we are going to do would be sewing the 2 rectangles together. Once that is done, you're going to turn the rectangles right side out so that they're folded in half with the right of the fabric out, so the velvet side will be showing. Next, we are going to sew the raw edges of the shoulder off the shoulder piece to the top of your shirt that you just made, and just stretch it and pin it so that it fits across the whole shoulder piece. Okay, it's 3:42 and I'm now doing the circle skirt part so I can cut out this circle skirt and literally just sew. It's 3:42 right now, I think I just said that, and I have probably like 6 hours before I have to go, so that's how much time I have to finish this dress, at least to the point where I could just hand stitch the rest. But I'm about to do this circle skirt part, and I'm going to do a little voiceover in the next clip to explain to you guys how you can do this for yourself, because once you get the hang of it, it's really not hard at all, and I think it's like a good skill for you to know how to do. Now we're going to get into the skirt part. Honestly, this took me a little bit to figure out. I did this once when I was younger. I made a circle skirt, but I haven't done it in so long. Anyways, so for this part, what you want to do is get the radius of your waist measurement, because that is how you're going to get the perfect measurement to get the waist to fit the bottom of the shirt that you just made. I would honestly say that you could really look up the radius of your waist measurement, or you could look up videos on how to get the radius of a number. I would explain in this video, but it's a little complicated and I don't want to confuse you guys, so I would just look up how to find the radius of my waist, or you could literally just type in the radius of a number and it'll show it on Google, so that's a lot faster. For the width will basically just be how long you want your skirt to be. I wanted mine to be a little bit above my knees, so for me that was 23.5 inches. In the next clip, I'm going to show you guys exactly how I then cut this out on pattern paper. Honestly, I would suggest you do this on pattern paper first, just so that you do not mess this up. So you want to fold your pattern paper into fours, fold it in half once, and then fold it in half again. Make sure your paper is big enough so that the width of what you want your skirt to be can fit on the whole paper. So I would just make sure your paper is wide enough. So the first step that you would do is go to the corner of your paper and you're going to mark on your tape measure your radius of your waist, which you just found out. So for me that was 4.13, and so I just made that mark along the curve of the folded part of the paper. As you see, I just moved my tape measure along the paper, making sure that the tip of my tape measure is at the point of the paper the whole time, so that it cuts out into, so that when I cut this out, it will be in the shape of a circle. Next, from that point, I did the same thing, but from the edge of where the line is that I just drew, and that new line I'm going to be drawing will be for the width of the circle, which is really the length of the skirt. So I really just moved my tape measure along the paper, like I said, at 23.5, which is how long I wanted my skirt to be. And I made sure I kept it flat up against that line so that I knew it was the same measurement all the way across. I also added a seam allowance at the top of the smaller circle that we just did, so that that had some seam allowance for the waist. But that's basically how I made the circle skirt, and then I cut it out. You can also add seam allowance to the bottom of this skirt as well if you want to, but I didn't really need to because I knew my hem was going to be pretty small. But if you want to add seam allowance, you can. So I just cut out my circle skirt and now I'm gonna cut out the fabric and sew. It's 4:07 and my camera's about to die, but I'm gonna sew and then yeah, we're almost done. So the next steps would be cutting out the circle finally on the velvet fabric, and then from there I'm just attaching the waist, which is the smaller circle, to the bottom of the shirt that we made earlier, serging that together. And then after that, my final steps for the base of this dress are just to do the hem, and I did a baby hem with this on my regular sewing machine. Then for some really cute details, I added some white satin bows. Like I said on TikTok, you guys gave me so many options and like ideas of what I could do, and I'm honestly probably gonna make all of them in the future. But for this one, I thought that satin bows would be the best and white would be a good color against the red, so that's what I ended up choosing. I decided to go with 6 bows, but you can really put as many bows as you want. You can make them as small or big as you want. I thought this size was perfect for what I was going for. After you hand sew your bows to your skirt, you are finished, and now you can wear your dress to your party or whatever event you're going out to. I hope you guys enjoyed this cute little sewing tutorial. If you guys want a more in-depth one, I can definitely do that. But yeah, this is the end of the sewing tutorial, and now I'll show you guys the final results.
I gotta tell you something I could do. I could be running around chasing you, but I won't, 'cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for.
So that's the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely stay tuned for more videos coming up. Follow me on my TikTok and my Instagram because I do post a lot on there. I've sort of been like really busy this month because it's my birthday month and it's Christmas and it's like so many other things happening, so I'm posting as much as I can and trying not to get overwhelmed. But yeah, follow me on my socials to stay more up to date, but I will be posting again next week. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the year, the rest of your December, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!